This right here is a double fisherman's knot. I've got lots of comments about it not being a double fisherman's knot and like some of the different names that it has. So what I want to do today is talk about it and some of the different ways of tying it. All right, let's get to it. So when I was being taught, I was told that this was a double fisherman's bend. And I assumed that it was a bend probably because of this loop in it. What I use it for is a termination end when I'm doing my climbing. I put my carabiner in here and I close it up. I think the real name for it is a double fisherman's knot. Now, there's other names. It also is called a scaffold knot, and it's also called a poacher's knot. And I think, you know, they're all tied in the same way and it's all the same components. But in trees, what I'll do is I'll put this on a carabiner, and you at least have to have like 3 inches of tail. So that's how I've known it as a double fisherman's bend. So I guess it would be a double fisherman's knot. And every time I talk about it, I would say as a termination. There's also another way of tying this. So so let me tie it this way. So this is the double fisherman's. So what I do with the double fisherman's is you make a bite and you couple wraps downward toward the bite, and then you slide it back to itself, and there you have the double fisherman's. Now I'll get a carabiner and I put it in this little loop right here. Now once I put it in the loop, you snug it up and it's great for a termination. Okay, so there's another variation. So they call it a triple fisherman's. So it'd be the exact same thing as this. You'll tie it in the same way. The way you would do it is you make your bite and you go back, you wrap 3 wraps back down toward the bite. So 1, 2, 3. And once you get to that point, now you slide it back through. Now, I'm not really sure the benefit of a triple fisherman's, like they call this a triple fisherman's knot. Now, I guess, and then you put the same thing, you get the carabiner and you set it inside of this loop and you snug it up. Now, I've also heard this called a barrel knot with the 3 wraps. I've heard it referred as a barrel knot. Now, if you're using this as a termination end, maybe the benefit might be more of security. I do hear that if you do something like this, it might be a little bit more difficult to untie at the end. So the first one's a double fisherman's. This one's a triple fisherman's. When we're talking about a double fisherman's bend, now my understanding is that's the one where you connect ropes together to make a loop. So when people are talking about a double fisherman's bend, it's also known as a grapevine knot. So to do a double fisherman's bend, you get 2 separate ropes, or you get 1 rope that you're going to make a loop, and then you'll do the same kind of a motion. You'll tie it back onto itself, 1, 2 wraps, and then you go right back through. Okay, now once you have that, now you do the other tail, and then you're going to wrap the same way. You go back down to itself, 1, 2 wraps, and then it goes back in through itself. Okay, now once you do this, now you grab opposite the long parts of the rope and you pull them together, and this creates the double fisherman's bend right here. Okay, now I understand this is probably the correct double fisherman's bend, but it's also known as a grapevine knot. So aside from the other 2, you know, the 2 that you connect carabiners to, or something where you can make, this could be a good sling for like a redirect with the 2 double fishermen's, and then you slide them together. That's a real good way to lock a rope together. But what you can also have are a double fisherman's stopper. So in order to do the double fisherman's stopper, you know, you undo your line here, and then here you go. You get your tail in of what you want to have as a stopper, and then you do the same thing. Now what you're going to do is you go two wraps downward, 1, 2, and you send it back through to itself right here, and now you tighten it up, and there you have a double fisherman stopper. So then there's another one, just as we did a triple fisherman's knot, which they also call a barrel knot, you can do as a stopper also. And this is what that one looks like. Now what you'll do is you will get 3 wraps. So you'll get your rope, you'll do your 3 wraps. So there's 1, there's 2, and here's the 3rd. And now you send it back through. Okay. Snug it all up, make it tight. And that would be your barrel stopper, or a triple fisherman's stopper. Anyhow, I had lots of comments about and I've been guilty of calling it a double fisherman's bend. That's the way I was taught. My understanding, it should be called a double fisherman's knot. But those are some of the variations and some of the different names that they call that knot. Whether it is a loop, you know, the termination end, or if it's one that connects 2 ropes together, or if you're using it as a stopper. So you could either call it the double fisherman's bend, double fisherman's stopper, double fisherman's knot, or a triple fisherman's bend or a triple fisherman's knot. But anyways, they're all pretty much tied in the same way, and they're real good knots to use. There you go, the double fisherman's knot, also double fisherman's bend, scaffold knot, poacher's knot. It's also been known to be called the grapevine knot. Also, it could be a double fisherman's stopper knot and a barrel knot, and a triple fisherman's knot. However you call it, it's a real great knot to know. Guys, hope you like this video. Comment, like, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you like what we do. And by all means, share our videos. Take care. We'll see you next time.